Let me tell you something you probably don't want to hear, but deep down, I think you already know. He's cheating on you. And if it's anything like I used to be, he's gonna keep doing it over and over. I'm not talking about a mistake. I'm not talking about one drunk night or some random emotional disconnect that happened. I'm talking about a pattern that's in this world and in this life. The same pattern that I used to live every single day. You see, back then, years ago, I cheated. I lied, and I got really good at hiding it, at spinning it and covering my tracks so that I didn't get caught. And if I did get caught, even if I was better at switching around or turning it back on her, I would make my wife question herself. I would make her wonder what she did wrong. And if you're in a relationship like that right now, you're constantly confused. You're constantly doubting yourself. You're constantly wondering if it's all in your head. I want you to hear this clearly and concisely. It's not. I used to cheat not because the woman I was with wasn't good enough, but because I didn't believe I was. And so cheating gave me a sense of power and of control of another person. A moment where I felt in control, where I still had it, like I mattered. It wasn't about love, it was about this piece of attention, admiration, validation. It was the hit of what I wanted. The ego boost, the feeling of carnal desires of like, this is just what I need. The rush of knowing someone else desired me, even if I felt like I was falling apart inside. I didn't have the tools at that time to deal with my shame, insecurity, emptiness, the void inside. I just fed it with attention. And when the woman I was with didn't give me the attention the exact way that I wanted it, I just found someone else who would. I continued to move through this same cycle over and over and over. But the part that makes this even more twisted is even when she did give me what I needed, even when my wife would show up the way that I wanted, even when she showed up, when she loved me well, when she supported me, I still cheated. You're like, why? Because it was never about her. It was always about me. It was the bottomless pit, the void that I couldn't fill up with anything real. So I used people. I use affection, I use sex, I use secrets, I compartmentalize it all, tell myself stories to justify what I was doing. She doesn't respect me. She's cold, she's distant, she doesn't get me, she doesn't understand me. She's not meeting my needs, she's not showing up. But it was never about my needs, it was about my ego. And when I get caught, I just flip the script. I'd turn it around. I'd make her feel like she was the one overreacting. She was the one acting crazy. She was the one that responding too much, too extra, being too sensitive. You're the one that's trying to control me. You're the one that's trying to manipulate me. Nothing ever makes you happy. Nothing I do is enough. And slowly she stopped trusting herself and her gut, and she started wondering if maybe she was too much. Maybe it wasn't worth bringing it up anymore. If maybe she wasn't enough, like maybe she was doubting this. And that's when I knew I had her locked in, because when she stops trusting her own intuition and she starts believing that she was the problem, I could do whatever I wanted. And that's what cheating becomes for a narcissist. It's not just about the affair. It's about the control and about the manipulation that he's doing in your life right now. The high of knowing that I can wreck her and still have her apologize for how I hurt her. And the thing is, she never saw it coming. So it just kept happening over and over and over, because I didn't look like the stereotype. I wasn't always cruel. I wasn't always mean. I wasn't always distant. I didn't always go cold on her. But I'd love bomb her when I felt her pulling away. And I'd say just the right thing, just to give her the right amount of affection, just enough to reset the cycle, and then she'd stay. Because she got ready to leave multiple times. But she also always stayed. Because she remembered the version of me that made her feel alive, the version of me that made her feel connected, the man who made her laugh, the one that would hold her hand, look into her eyes, that would say, I would never hurt you, that would say sweet things that would keep her trapped. But that version of me back then wasn't real. It was the mask. It was a performance. It was something that would keep her stuck, because underneath all of that, I was cheating, I was lying, I was hiding, I was blaming, I was feeding off of her love while making her feel like she was the one who needed to prove herself. She was the one who needed to be more loyal. She's the one who needed to show up more. And every time she forgave me, it gave me permission of, oh, okay, that wasn't that big of a deal. I can do it again and again and again, because she loved me more than she loved her own peace. Like, she believed in me more that she believed in her own gut. She didn't trust herself anymore. Like, I made sure that she would doubt herself for a long time. Like, if you're still with the guy right now and your gut is screaming and he's still spinning stories, you already know this is what's happening. Like, as I'm recounting my story from the past, you're seeing this here. You actually don't need any more evidence. You don't need to find the perfect proof, because even if you had it, you'd probably still stay. You need to stop asking him to tell you the truth and start asking yourself the truth. You are being betrayed. Not because you're weak, not because you're crazy, not because you're stupid, not because you're not good enough or you're not worthy or you're not valued, but because he doesn't know how to face himself. And he's using you to avoid doing it. That's what I did for years. I wouldn't face myself. And it wasn't until I had to sit in my own wreckage after destroying the trust of all the people in my life that I started to see how deep the rot went. And if you're waiting for him to suddenly wake up and stop cheating, you're going to bleed out in the process, waiting for the healing. And the reason I kept getting away with it inside of this wasn't because I was some master manipulator. It was because she loved me. That's it. She loved me, and I didn't show that care and respect towards her. And so as a result, I weaponized that back to her. Because she kept showing up with a heart that was pure, trying to care for me. And she didn't want to give up on us. She didn't want to give up on the relationship. So I used that. So every time I cheated, I knew exactly what strings to pull to keep her from walking away. I knew the right things to say. I'd play that I was broken. I'd play that I was the one that was suffering. I'd switch it back onto me. I hate that that's what I did to you, but deep down, I wasn't sorry because I kept doing it. I was scared of losing her. I was scared of losing control of the situation. I was scared she'd actually leave and I wouldn't have supply anymore. I would lose the mask of how the relationship was. That comfort, that safety, that stability, that was the net that I went out and betrayed her. You see, I got high off of living the double life. Walking out the door, calling the next person, having a steady woman at home who believed in me, prayed for me, fought for us, and then having another woman on the side. There was a high to it, an excitement inside the cheating world. Someone who didn't know the real me, not fully, not completely, not to that depth. Someone who gave me all the flattery without requiring emotional depth. Because I didn't want intimacy. I wanted a mirror. Someone that reflected back the version of me that I pretended to be. The version of me that made me feel good about myself. And when the mirror started to crack, when they started asking for consistency, for truth, for accountability, for more of me, I would move on. Or I'd just go back home. Because I knew she'd always be there, and that's what broke her the most. The fact that through all of this, I could come home after cheating, after lying, after all of this, acting like nothing happened. Sit down, I'd eat the dinner that she made, I'd kiss her goodnight, tell her that I loved her. And I meant it in the twisted way that I understood love at the moment. Because what I called love was just this piece of control. It was me needing her to hold up the parts of me that I refused to face. And while she started catching on, when she got suspicious and when she asked her questions, I didn't own it. You're making it up. I'd gaslight her, I'd call her crazy. I'd act offended that she looked through my phone. Like, how could you do these things? Trying to make her feel like she was bad. I'd like, why are you being so paranoid? Trying to make her think that it was her fault. You seriously think I'd do that to you? Do you realize how I show up? Inside of all this, I knew exactly what I was doing. There's a piece of me that didn't know how to break out of it. So I just kept doing it. But I realized if I kept making her doubt herself, she'd back down. I knew if I could just hold the line long enough, she'd let it go because she didn't want it to be true. She wanted to believe me. And I exploited that. I made her feel like she was too emotional, too sensitive, too much. In reality, she was the only one that was actually seeing clearly. But she started questioning her reality because I kept feeding her different illusions. And that's how narcissists cheat and keep getting away with it over and over and over again. We make you feel like you're the unstable one. We rewrite the narrative so that subtly, that eventually, you're the one apologizing for even bringing it up. Why would you bring it up? And every time that you do that, you lose another piece of you. You shrink just a little bit smaller. You second guess your gut just a little bit more. You start to believe the lies over your own intuition. And I've watched women do this around me, and so I let them. Because the truth was too heavy for me to face. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with my shame. I couldn't handle being exposed, being seen, being confronted with the reality that I was the one causing the damage. So I'd bury it, I'd compartmentalize, I'd move on. But in burying it, I buried her. Every time I cheated and lied about it, a part of her died. The part that would laugh freely, that would connect on a different level, the part that trusted people and friends around us, the part that believed she was worthy of honest love. I didn't just cheat on her body, I violated her soul. And if you're still with a man like that today, let me tell you, from the inside of the mind of the man who did it to you, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's not confused. He's not still healing from his childhood. He's not just struggling right now. He's not just overwhelmed. He's making choices every single day. Choices that betray you. Choices that hurt you. Choices that break you. Choices that you do not control. Choices that he has no intention of stopping as long as you keep cleaning up his mess and you keep staying thinking that he's going to change. It won't. It'll never change. I never changed when she forgave me. I just learned how far I could go before she finally had enough. And if I'm being honest with all this, she usually didn't. Because I'd pull her back with guilt, with tears, with promises. I'll do better. Don't give up on me now. Like, I'll go to therapy. I'll fix it. I'll work on this. I can't lose you. We're perfect for each other. But none of that was real. It was all strategy to keep her stuck, to keep her hooked for me, for my mess, because I didn't want to lose the woman who held emotional labor of my life, even while I was destroying hers. If you're waiting for him to finally wake up, he won't until he's forced to. Until he's left alone with the weight of all that he's done. Until there's no one left around him to absorb the shame but himself. That's what finally helped me wake up. People are like, what's the magic piece for you? When I had to sit in my own devastation without anyone else around to soften the edges. When my wife left, it was hell. But it was the first mirror that I'd ever seen, because I didn't see it until I realized that nothing would change unless I changed. Like, the truth is, I never changed because she kept loving me through it. I just kept doing it. I changed because she finally stopped. She stopped accepting the lies. She stopped shrinking to accommodate my ego. She stopped being in my life. She stopped tolerating the loyalty and the betrayal that I was calling loyalty. And when she left, when she walked out and didn't look back, I had to sit in the silence that I created. No one else there to be able to blame. No one else to be able to say, well, this is what happened. No more someone to patch the hole, to fix it. No more someone to feed my illusion of being the good guy that just messed up. I was left with the truth. I broke something that I never deserved. I never even tried. This is what I want you to see, because you're looking for the magic pill that's going to wake him up. Why don't you focus on your healing? And maybe that'll wake him up, but that's not the point. When my wife left, she was like, I'm done. It's over. The only reason why we're even together now is because when she came back for clothes, like 4 or 5 years ago, she came back for clothes. She noticed a difference in my behavior, in my tone, in my actions, in my transformation. Only reason. Because she's healed to the place where if I did something like that again, she would be gone in a heartbeat. Because she knows her worth and she knows her value. I want you to consider this, like all of this affects you so much in so many different ways. Like, I broke something that I never deserved, and that's what he's done to you. There's a piece of the weight. Didn't come all at once, but in like images and small waves. Her crying on the bathroom floor while I gaslit her into silence. The panic in her eyes when I flipped the blame so hard she started questioning her own mind and sitting there with panic attacks. The way she still tried to love me even when I gave her every reason not to. And I finally saw it for what it was. Not just cheating. Not just lying. Abuse. Abusing her trust, her vulnerability, abusing the part of her that still believed that people could change if they were loved hard enough. And that's the sickness so many men with me have lived with. Taking women who are strong, passionate, kind, and using them to build up our fragile egos, destroying the very person who is willing to bleed out for us. And then we call it love. It's not love. It's this piece of control, abuse, manipulation. To make sure that someone's in control then we feel better about ourselves. And if that's the hell that you're living in right now, if you're caught in the storm of a man who cheats and spins the lies and cries just enough to get you hopeful, once you hear this loud and clear, it's not going to stop. Not because you're not enough, not because you're beautiful or amazing or not smart enough, not because you didn't do enough, but because he refuses to face who he really is. And as long as you keep absorbing the consequences of his actions, he will never face it at all. As long as you keep softening the blow, he doesn't feel the weight. As long as you keep accepting betrayal and calling it just a rough patch you're going through, he has no reason to change at all. I didn't change because my wife stayed. Part of me changed because she finally walked. She finally made me feel what I'd felt for years, and that was just the loss. Listen, I know you might not be ready to leave and walk out on your relationship today. You've got years invested. You've got kids that are in the mix. You've got a shared life, a shared business. Part of you still wants to believe that the version of him that shows up sometimes is real. You're hoping, praying, thinking. But let me be the man that actually tells you the truth from the insider's perspective. That version of him isn't real. It's a mask. It's a moment of performance designed to keep you from pulling the plug on the relationship. And the longer you cling to that version of him, the longer you stay stuck in the cycle. So let me offer you something different. Choose you. Not just in theory, not just in affirmations, not just in hashtags. They actually choose you. Choose your peace over his patterns, over the cycle that keeps happening. Choose your future over his past. Choose your sanity over the gaslighting you've been putting up with. You don't need him to own what he did in order for you to heal. You don't need the perfect closure or the perfect apology because you won't get it from him. You need a decision. A moment where you have in time where you say, no more. No more bleeding for someone who never learned how to hold your heart. No more dimming your light for someone who doesn't feel insecure. No more spinning in circles to prove your worth to a man who refuses to see it. You don't have to keep living like this. You don't have to keep trying to be the exception to the rule. The rule is he cheats and that you forgive. Break that pattern, not for him, for you, for your sanity, for your legacy. Because you still have a life to build. You still have a fire inside of you that hasn't burned out. It's just buried underneath his mess. It's time for you to unbury it. And that, my friend, starts with you now. The option for you here is to be able to drop a comment down below that just says the word breakthrough. The programs, the intensive, the challenges that I run, they're not just surface level fluff. It's not just rah-rah positivity, putting you around a campfire and singing kumbaya, because frankly, none of that helps in this point. It's dismantling the lies that have you trapped. It's the exact process that I now teach other women to help them break the trauma bonds, reclaim their identity, and step back into power. Because I've been the one who's broke them, and now I help them rise from it. And I want you to see and have clarity from the other side so you actually understand what he's thinking and how to be able to shift your mindset. And it starts by breaking the part of you that keeps tolerating and keeps accepting the abuse that he's doing. So drop a comment down below that says the word breakthrough. I'll send you a link. You can watch a video, fill out the form, and take the next step. The next step that he never will. Take responsibility for your own healing. Because you can't change him, but you can choose you. So, drop the word breakthrough. Let's have a call. Let's build out a plan inside of your healing, where you are, where you want to go, what that looks like, so you have a step-by-step guide to rediscover you. That starts now. You've been told it's all your fault, and that makes you feel crazy. No one understands you, and that leaves you in a place of being alone. You've tried to break free multiple times, and that leaves you helpless because nothing you've done has actually worked. It hasn't actually got you free or liberated from this toxic relationship. So you feel crazy, alone, and hopeless. Guess what? That's a lie. Because all it is how you've been raised and conditioned inside of this abusive relationship over and over. And as a result, you've sacrificed your growth, you've sacrificed your worth, and you've been trapped inside of a toxic relationship. What if I showed you the path to freedom? A way for you to actually get free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity that's happening right here, right now. You deserve more. You deserve to be able to heal. And I want to help you with that. If I can help you with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough, schedule a call there, and let's talk. Have you ever felt like no matter what you're trying to do, you're always the one trying to hold it all together, to keep the relationship functioning? Like you're fighting for something, but it doesn't even seem like he cares about the relationship, that he cares about you. And it oscillates back and forth. One minute he tells you that he loves you. Next minute he's pushing you away. One minute he's acting like everything's fine and the family's great. And the next time he's treating you almost like you don't even exist. You feel like you get to the place that you're the one that's the only one that's trying in the relationship. And deep down you might start to wonder, does he even want me here? Does he even love me? Does he even care? The answer really quick is just no. But it's not in the way that you think. Because I want you to understand that the truth is that there's a version of him that wants you to leave. He doesn't just want to be the one to end it, he wants to make sure you do it. He doesn't want the responsibility. He doesn't want to look like the bad guy. He doesn't want to deal with the consequences of what's going to happen if you walk away. So instead of him walking away like a normal person, he makes you do it instead. He makes sure that you are the one that he pushes away, that you are the one that he drains and slowly wears down until you can't take it anymore, so that you finally leave. And when you finally get to that place where you take the time and you leave, he flips and he plays the victim. He looks at everyone and he tells everybody in a sad face that he tried. He acts like you gave up. He rewrites the story so that somehow he's the one that got hurt because you abandoned him, you left him. And if you don't see it happening, you will walk away, blaming yourself the entire time. That's exactly what he wants. He wants to have you confused. He wants to have you lost. Today I want to break down how narcissists push you to leave and why he refuses at the end of the relationship to end it himself, and how the patterns keep you stuck in the cycle that's designed to actually destroy you long term.